Episode 239. If you're not doing what you love, you're wasting your time.
You're listening to the very best podcast in the world on health, wealth, and happiness. Please remember to leave a review and share with all your friends and family. And here is your host, Lars Hilser.
And we are in the process of closing yet another successful week on the very best podcast in the world, your only source in the universe for personal supremacy through health, wealth, and happiness, and my voice, which sounds deviously deep today, if I'm, interpreting the feedback on the headphones correctly, because I've been breathing sawdust and drill dust and whatever for the past week. I don't know, maybe the smokes are having a positive impact. I don't know, to be perfectly blunt. However, that didn't keep me from putting together yet another episode. Standing on the ladder with a drill in your hand kind of gets you into awkward mental spaces and kind of lets you reflect on stuff from the past. And among those was this weird quote that I came across many moons ago, and I can't even remember who it was attributed to. But it was interesting and it stuck. And that's why we're going to be going through that, because it is rather interesting, and there's a lot to say to it. We've been covering similar episodes in the past months that we spent together. But this one is kind of like in retrospect, or whatever. Like a follow-up to those episodes about passion and being passionate about what you do. With that being said, let's get into housekeeping. Item number 1 on the agenda: sharing is caring, and you should definitely share the episodes because they can have a very positive impact on people's lives. And that's why I think it's totally important that you share the content. If an episode may stand out particularly as something that someone in your sphere of influence is struggling with, share that episode directly with them, right? Because that's going to give them the opportunity to feel very special, feeling like they were cared about by you. That is always a very impactful manifestation of any relationship you may have. Item number 2, not sharing is caring. We already views and thoughts are my own. Don't reflect any blah, blah, blah. And item number 3, major rehaul mode, shorter episodes, on the fly, stenography, very quickly. Stenography, is it? I think so. Whatever. So anyhow, we have repeatedly on this show talked about passion and being passionate about, in not only in your personal relationships, right? That's where the word passion is almost always associated with primarily. However, being passionate about your job, being passionate about your career, being passionate about what you do is essentially what makes the world go round. Because when you do something out of passion and not for the paycheck's going to come by itself, right? But the days in the office or wherever you work are going to fly by much more quickly because you're interested, because you're engaged, because what you do just gives you fucking wings, right? And that's where passion is, I think, very often miscommunicated, misinterpreted, right? You don't start a job and then become passionate about it. There are those cases, but they're rather rare. It's you come into the right environment and you have the right kinds of colleagues, you have the right type of motivation, not only monetarily, but you find what you're passionate about. Usually it's the other way around. You have a hobby, you turn it into a business, you go down the warrior's path of an entrepreneur. And because you're so passionate about it, you're able to convey your product or service so authentically that people have no other option than to buy from you. Number one. Number two, you're going to be so in such a position to explain your product or service so well because you just live for it, right? And so therefore, those are the greatest salesmen that can get themselves into the mindset that the product or the service that they're selling is so essential, is so good, and they're convinced about it. And that's where, this root of entrepreneurship really goes when you're passionate about something. Generally speaking, it could start out earlier in school. So let's say you're very interested in metallurgy, right? And then you discover that, you have fun being around horses because people are idiots. Why not think of becoming a blacksmith? And there's so much more to putting hoof pads under horses than you may think immediately. And people are idiots. And so, horses, I don't know, haven't talked to many, but they seem to be cooler than a lot of people that I meet on a daily basis. So, that being said, maybe that's your discovery of passion. Now, the point I'm trying to make is don't look for passion, right? You find something and you become passionate about it, right? That's the way it goes. It's not the other way around that, like I said, it's very seldom that you go into a job and you become so passionate about it, that you want to stick there for the end of your life and longer. That doesn't happen very often. So, lose that illusion, right? That's the 9-to-5 gig, right? That pays the bills. After that, it's finding your passion and then moving that into the sphere of entrepreneurship, because only then will you be able to grow your business because you love the product. You have full control over what the product and service is, what it entails, what the pricing is, and that kind of ordeal. You have full liberty. And that's where I think true passion then becomes your profession. So I hope I was able to get that point across. I did on the other episodes that we had, that we've already produced about passion and being passionate about, normally your job. I went into quite a few things that I went through and that friends of mine went through, and actually shit attracts more shit. It's like the people I hang around with, most of them have pretty screwed up CVs, right? Like I do. But it's just this interesting bunch and this interesting crowd of insanely passionate people that, all took detours in their lives to get where they are now. And they're happy and they're passionate about where they are. And that's why that's such a magical mindset to be in and to stay in once you have found it. So in that sense, we're going to wrap things up here. I mentioned in the housekeeping that remodeling is still ongoing. Plus, I need to go to the bathroom really urgently. And in that sense, I hope you have a good rest of your Thursday. And for those of you who already have, go to bed, have a good night, sweet dreams, leave your hands above the blanket. We'll be in touch tomorrow for exercise, Friday when we're going to talk about prioritization. See you, folks. Bye-bye.